Jung asked her a question she couldn't answer. Not wouldn't answer, couldn't. She sat there in his office, mid-sentence about her mother, and the words just stopped. Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. He waited. She was 32, professional. The kind of woman who arrived on time with a list of symptoms neatly organized in her mind. Depression, she'd said. Anxiety. Insomnia that left her staring at the ceiling, replaying conversations from 15 years ago. Her mother's voice, mostly. The way she used to sigh when she walked into a room. She'd tried everything. Meditation apps that told her to breathe. Gratitude journals that made her feel worse. Therapy that nodded sympathetically while she explained again why she felt so alone. Why nobody understood. Why she kept choosing people who confirmed what she already knew about herself. Jung had listened to all of this. Then he'd asked his question. When you think of your mother, he said, what does she want from you right now? Not what did she want. What does she want? Present tense. The woman blinked. Started to speak. Stopped. Her mother had been dead for 3 years. See, here's the thing about pain that won't leave. It's not actually about the past. The past is over. Done. What keeps you up at 3 in the morning isn't what happened. It's what's still happening. Right now. In the space between your thoughts. Jung understood this. He'd spent years watching people carry around conversations with ghosts. Dead parents who still criticized. Ex-lovers who still rejected. Younger versions of themselves who still cowered in corners. The woman tried again. She wants me to be better. Jung didn't nod, didn't write anything down. Better how? Just better. Enough. She wants me to be enough. And are you? The silence in the room changed, became thicker. The woman's hands twisted in her lap. No. How do you know? Because if I was, she would've. She trailed off. Would've what? Loved her differently? Said different words? Not died disappointed? Jung leaned forward slightly. Not much. Just enough. I want you to do something, he said. Tonight. Before you sleep. The woman nodded. Grateful for instructions. Something to do. Some technique that would fix this. Close your eyes. Picture your mother. Not a memory. Her. Actually standing in front of you. Looking at you the way she used to look at you. The woman's face tightened. And then, Jung said, ask her directly. Out loud, what do you want from me? And wait for her answer. But she's dead. Is she? The woman stared at him. Because you seem to be having quite an active relationship with her, Jung said. You check in with her every night. You ask her permission. You wait for her approval. You shape your entire life around what she might think. That doesn't sound dead to me. That sounds present. I don't. Every choice you make with her watching. Every relationship you enter wondering if she'd approve. You say you want to move forward, but you keep one foot planted in her living room, waiting to be told you're allowed. The woman's breathing had changed. Shorter. Faster. So tonight, Jung said, you're going to face her. Not the memory. The her that lives in your head. The one making all your decisions. And you're going to ask her what she wants. And you're going to listen to what she says. What if what? What if she tells me I'm not enough? Jung's expression didn't change. Then you'll finally know, he said, that the voice telling you you're not enough has been yours all along. The session ended. The woman left. That night, she sat in her apartment, lights off, the city humming outside her window. She closed her eyes, and she began. Her mother appeared immediately, not slowly, not like a memory surfacing. Just there, standing in the dark behind her eyelids with that expression, the one that meant disappointment without having to say it. The woman's hands were shaking. "What do you want from me?" She said it out loud. Her voice cracked on the last word. The imagined mother said nothing, just looked at her, waiting. "What do you want?" Louder this time, angrier. And then her mother spoke, not with sound, with knowing, the way you know things in dreams without being told. "I want you to be perfect." The woman's chest tightened. "I want you to need nothing. I want you to make no mistakes. I want you to prove I did everything right. I want you to erase every doubt I ever had about myself by being flawless." The woman opened her eyes, gasping. But the voice didn't stop. "Because if you're broken, then I failed. If you're struggling, then I wasn't enough. So you can't struggle. You can't be human. You have to be the proof." She sat there in the dark, heart pounding, and she realized her mother had never said those words, never thought those thoughts. Her actual mother, the woman who died 3 years ago, probably loved her the best way she knew how. Imperfectly, humanly. But this mother, the one who lived in her head, the one she'd been trying to satisfy for 32 years, this mother was hers. She'd built her, maintained her, fed her with every anxious thought, every midnight replay of past failures, every relationship she'd sabotaged because someone might see she wasn't perfect and leave first. The next session, she told Jung what happened. He listened, then asked another question. "When your mother, the one in your mind, when she tells you you're not enough, what do you do?" The woman thought about it. "I try harder. I work more. I apologize. I make myself smaller." "And does it work?" "No. Because the mother in your mind," Jung said, "doesn't want you to succeed. She wants you to keep trying. That's her function. That's why you created her." "I don't understand." "As long as you're trying to be enough for her, you never have to face the real question, which is, what do you want?" The woman went very still. "Not what would make her happy. Not what would prove you're worthy. What do you, right now, actually want from your life?" She couldn't answer, because she'd spent 3 decades asking everyone else. Her mother, her partners, her friends, even strangers whose approval she'd chase in conversations. She'd built an entire existence around being wanted by others because she'd never stopped to ask what she wanted for herself. Jung gave her another task. Every time you catch yourself asking what someone else would think, stop. Feel where that question lives in your body, and ask instead, "What do I think?" That's it? That's it. It sounds too simple. "Try it for a week," Jung said. "Then tell me if it's simple." She tried. The first day, she caught herself 12 times, checking her reflection in a window and wondering if people would judge her outfit, writing an email and rewriting it 5 times to sound more likable, ordering food she didn't want because the waiter seemed impatient. Each time she stopped, felt the panic in her chest, the desperate need to be acceptable, and asked, "What do I actually think?" The answer was usually nothing. Static. A void where her own opinion should be. By the third day, she started crying in random places. The grocery store, her car, a work meeting she had to leave early because she was realizing how much of her life she'd given away. How many hours spent contorting herself into shapes that might earn love. How little of her actual self had ever been allowed to exist. The mother in her mind got louder, angrier, more desperate, because she was losing her function. When the woman returned to Young, she looked different, exhausted, but different. "It's not getting easier," she said. "No," Young said, "it won't. So what's the point?" "The point is that you're finally meeting yourself, and she's been waiting 32 years for you to show up." The woman looked at him. "The mother in your head," Young continued. "She's not your enemy. She's the guard you posted at the door of your own life. She kept you safe by keeping you small. She kept you acceptable by keeping you incomplete. And now you're learning you don't need her anymore." "But I'm terrified." "Of course you are. You've never lived a single day as yourself. You don't know what that person wants or needs or feels. You've been too busy being who everyone else needed you to be." He leaned back. "The question isn't whether you're terrified. The question is whether you're willing to be terrified and still choose yourself anyway." The woman left that session and walked through the city. Past people who didn't care what she was wearing. Past buildings that existed whether she approved of them or not. Past her entire life of seeking permission to exist. And somewhere between the street corner and her apartment, she made a choice. Not a dramatic one. Not the kind that changes everything instantly. Just a quiet decision to stop asking ghosts for permission to be alive. It took months. The mother in her mind didn't disappear. She just got quieter. Less certain. Less able to override what the woman actually wanted. And slowly, something else emerged. Not confidence. Not sudden clarity about who she was supposed to be. Just the beginning of knowing what she actually thought. What she actually felt. What she actually wanted from the short, strange, unrepeatable thing called her life. Jung had told her once, near the end of their work together, that the hardest place to be is the present. Because the present has no audience, no one to perform for, no past to justify you, no future to promise you'll be better, just you, right now, making choices. And for someone who'd spent 3 decades living for the approval of others, that was more terrifying than any ghost. But she learned to sit with it anyway. The discomfort of being present, of making decisions without checking if they'd be approved, of existing without justification. That's how it works. You don't heal by making the pain go away. You heal by learning you can survive it without disappearing into someone else's idea of who you should be. The mother in her mind never fully left. She's still there sometimes, at 3 in the morning asking if she's done enough. But now the woman knows. That voice is hers, and she can choose whether to answer.